City News on 97.3 FM. Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka in Accra. My name is Salom Adunu. Tonight I'm here with
Eno Safu.
Coming up over the next 90 minutes.
The OSP investigation found no evidence that former President Mahama was involved or played any role in the procurement and maintenance of the agency relationship between Airbus and Foster and its associates.
Office of Special Prosecutor exonerates former President Mahama of any wrongdoing in the infamous Airbus bribery scandal. We will bring you reactions on the Special Prosecutor's report and what that means for the named officials who became subject of the OSP's investigations. Also coming up, Attorney General files a notice of criminal appeal over the ambulance purchase trial. The Court of Appeal last week acquitted and discharged accused persons Arthur Forson and Richard Jakpa on the grounds that they had no case to answer. Still on Eyewitness News, NDC denies claims that former President Mahama cut short his tour of the northern region for Volta because Dr. Baumia is presently in the region and making strides. More later. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
Ghana running out of time to agree on terms for new cocoa loan.
There is more business in the next 50 minutes. Eyewitness News is also live on Adjunipa 100.7 FM in Takwa, Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady, and Sky Power 93.5 FM in Takrady, all in the western region. In the Bono region, this is Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani, Ashanti region, Adjunipa 99.9 FM at Nkawie. In the Volta region, Heritage 107.3 FM in Hoho, and Freedom 88.1 FM in Sogakope. In the northern region, Radio Gaki 88.3 in Saboba, and the upper east region, this is Quality 88.7 FM in Garu. In the northeast, this is Nobia 98.1 FM at Nari Lugu. Eyewitness News is also live around the globe at citynewsroom.com. Your comments are welcome via WhatsApp line 0549 986 996. You can follow me on Twitter at Selom Adunu. The hashtag, as always, is City Newsroom. Eno gives us our first story.
The Office of the Special Prosecutor has cleared former President John Mahama of any wrongdoing in connection with the Airbus scandal. During a press conference today, the office revealed that John Mahama was identified as Government Official 1 in a deferred prosecution agreement by a UK Crown Court, which had investigated bribery allegations against Airbus in several countries, including Ghana. The investigation by the UK court had found Airbus employees guilty of facilitating bribes to government officials to secure business deals. President Akufo-Addo earlier referred the matter to the Office of the Special Prosecutor for further investigation into the Ghanaian aspect of the case. The Special Prosecutor's investigation confirmed that John Mahama was indeed Government Official 1 and his brother Samuel Adam Mahama was identified as Intermediary 5. However, the office concluded that both John Mahama and his brother were involved in the Airbus transactions with good intentions and that there was no evidence to suggest that any bribes were paid to John Mahama or any other government official. The money paid to Samuel Adam Mahama was determined to be for legitimate agency services rendered to Airbus, and no further action was deemed necessary by the Special Prosecutor's Office.
The processes leading to the purchase by the government of Ghana of 3 C-295 twin turboprop military transport aircraft from Airbus followed substantially the same pattern. Parliament approved the proposed transactions in 2011. In accordance with the laws of Ghana, in the estimation of the OSP, there was nothing remarkable about the deal, and it certainly would not have found its way in the UK and US deferred prosecution agreements and made headlines around the world, but for the involvement of former President John Dramani Mahama and his younger brother of the full-blood Samuel Adam Foster, also known as Samuel Adam Mahama, and his associates, as recounted in the UK and US deferred prosecution agreements. The OSP investigation found no evidence that former President Mahama was involved or played any role in the procurement and maintenance of the agency relationship between Airbus and Foster and his associates in respect of the purchase by the government of Ghana of military transport aircraft from Airbus. And it appears to the OSP that the direct communications and meetings between former President Mahama and officials of Airbus to close the deal were actuated by good intentions on the part of the former president. It also appears that Foster and his associates became involved as intermediaries in the Airbus Ghana deal after the decision by the government of Ghana in preference of the C295 aircraft. Therefore, it seems that Foster's Airbus intermediary role at the time his brother served as the vice president of Ghana was a case of luckless coincidence that attracted the disapproval of the UK and US authorities. The OSP found no evidence that suggests that the involvement of Foster as an intermediary of Airbus and the direct communications and meetings between former President Mahama and officials of Airbus to close the deal between Airbus and the government of Ghana amounted to any corruption and corruption-related offense in respect of which the OSP has a mandate. However, it ought reasonably to have occurred to former President Mahama and the government of Ghana that the familiar relationship between former President Mahama and Foster and the direct participation by former President Mahama in the communications and meetings with Airbus officials were bound to raise reasonable suspicions of improper conduct and dealings, notwithstanding any claims to good faith conduct and above-board dealings, especially in light of the fact that during the first Airbus campaign, former President Mahama was the chairman of the Armed Forces Council by reason of his position as the vice president, and therefore a very key decision maker. Such close proximity dealings by such elected high officials of the Republic and their kin and close associates on behalf of the Republic should neither be viewed favorably nor encouraged, as they give rise to reasonable suspicion of influence peddling and conflict of interest, never mind any intended good faith on the part of the vice president or the president. Then again, the direct participation of the president and the vice president on behalf of the Republic in commercial communications and meetings with commercial entities should not be encouraged either, as they expose these elected high officials to the specter of the slightest hint of perceived corruption that may attend international business transactions. The president and the vice president should be insulated from such direct commercial dealings. Indeed, it seems to the OSP that the only reasons why the Airbus Ghana deal found its way into the UK and US DPAs were the fact that former President Mahama and Samuel Adam Foster were brothers of the full blood, and that former President Mahama directly participated in commercial communications and meetings with Airbus officials. This is because, and here, without seeking to critique the UK and US deferred prosecution agreements, the OSP found no evidence, circumstantial or direct, which suggests that Foster and his associates were actually paid bribes, and which bribes were to be transmitted to former President Mahama, and that the bribes were actually paid to former President Mahama. Indeed, to all intents and purposes, and objectively viewed, an agency relationship existed between Airbus and Foster and his associates, by which Foster and his associates acted as business partners of Airbus in respect of the Airbus Ghana deal, and under which Foster and his associates were to be remunerated success-based commission payments. I'm a Kwauman, so expect that. This was a typical arrangement instituted by Airbus, by which it contracted third parties as business partners to increase its international footprint and to assist it in winning sales contracts in numerous jurisdictions. On this basis, when Airbus made a successful sale of aircraft, it will ordinarily pay a business partner a commission-based percentage value of the sale or a fixed amount of the aircraft. In this context, Airbus took the full benefit of the agency agreement with Foster and his associates and the services they provided to Airbus for a considerable length of time. This was so because the contract for the sale of the first 295s between Airbus and Ghana, which was clearly secured by Foster and his associates, was signed almost 2 months before Airbus issued its due diligence report on 30 September 2011, which led to the abrogation of the arrangement between Airbus and Foster and his associates. It was only when Airbus due diligence mechanism discovered the familiar relationship between former President Mahama and Foster that it abrogated the relationship. The abrogation by Airbus of the agency arrangement certainly portended to work, and did in fact work, grave unfairness against Foster and his associates. Therefore, the concoction of a plan by senior leadership in SMO International and the Defense and Space Division of Airbus to deliberately circumvent Airbus compliance rules by substituting Company D, or the company owned by Consultant 4 and Consultant 5, with the Spanish intermediary 8 Organization 1, to ensure payments to Foster and his associates, was probably a well-intentioned adventure, though apparently misguided, as it rendered the payments seemingly of doubtful provenance.
You heard Special Prosecutor Kisi Ejabing.
Now let's head to the phone lines and speak to the NDC, which is seeking, or which is actually making a lot of capital from this particular report of the special prosecutor. Its head of legal affairs, Eduji Tamaklu, is on the line to help us appreciate the matters properly from the perspective of the NDC and what they make of this particular decision by the Office of the Special Prosecutor to close investigations on this matter. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. Eduji Tamaklu. How does the party and GM in particular view the Office of the Special Prosecutor's report and subsequent closure of investigations on this matter?
Well, the report released today by the Office of the Special Prosecutor is consistent with our long-held view that there was nothing untoward and that the decision by Mr. Akufo-Addo on the 7th of February 2020 to refer this matter to the Office of Special Prosecutor for investigation for bribery and corruption was merely politics and nothing more. And that singular decision was actuated by malice, politics, because by February 2020, it was clear that Mr. Akufo-Addo was going into a presidential election contest with H.E. John Dramani Mahama, and therefore wanted a situation where he could equalize the pervasive corruption that has engulfed his administration as of 2020 with that of the former president, H.E. John Dramani Mahama. So for us, it is extremely welcoming news, and we want to applaud the OSP for the high level of professionalism and the singular courage to come out with such a report. It is not easy in the face of a vindictive president like Mr. Akufo-Addo. We extremely applaud him for the extraordinary courage demonstrated in the 25-page report as released today. Extremely welcoming.
I see, but the reports in parts also talks about or berates the extent of familiar relationships and what that could mean for questions of conflict of interest and other things. That particularly is not positive for H.E. John Mahama.
The last time I checked, and you are a lawyer, per the constitutional arrangement in Ghana, the body clothed with the authority to investigate issues of conflict of interest is charged, not the special prosecutor. And you know what it means? We call it an obiter. It's of no moment. I think you know that by learning.
All right, Eduji. So, in essence, I mean, the case has been closed according to the special prosecutor. What happens to the claims or the cause initially when this matter was referred to the office of the special prosecutor? That because I mean, you guys were of the view that the office of the special prosecutor could not be fair in the investigations, etc. Now here we are. Office of the Special Prosecutor is exonerated from our President Mahama, and that's a commentary. You know, we're hearing from your opponents that the same persons you were not happy with for taking the matter is now exonerated you.
Shalom, with respect. As of February 2020, when this matter was referred, it was referred to other person than to Mr. Martin Alamisi. You agree with me? We had indicated that knowing the previous write-ups, the previous episodes by Mr. Lamisi Kaiser Amidu relative to the NDC in power, the circumstances under which he left office, we felt that would he be in the proper position, as it were, to do this investigation. He, Martin Amidu, subsequently indicated that for all intents and purposes, the decision to refer that investigative piece to him in an election year, he felt that any decision whatsoever may likely provide one way or the other a conversation in the election. And therefore, he was going to defer the investigation. Beyond that, there hasn't been any other commentary. Because we have always maintained that this particular transaction was above board. The final person to have a say in this transaction was the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. This is a transaction that involved the Ghana Armed Forces to the point that the Air Force sent their officers to Airbus facilities abroad to ensure that the right thing was done. H.E. John Dramani Mahama had never demonstrated technical knowledge of how an aeroplane is put together, let alone to say whatever decision or what plane is to be purchased was left for him to decide. At almost that time, the Ghana Armed Forces, particularly the Air Force, in fact, the current Air Force commander were the persons who were involved in this Airbus transaction. He is alive. And so at all material time, it was known. The only issue is that Mr. Akufo-Addo, arguably Ghana's most corrupt president, felt that the only way to equalize that dubious distinction that he has obtained as the mother serpent of corruption is to refer H.E. John Dramani Mahama so that while the investigation is ongoing, it gives him a political folder against the person of H.E. John Dramani Mahama. And today, the professionalism of Mr. Kisi Ejan relative to this investigation has completely exonerated H.E. John Dramani Mahama relative to this Airbus compensation. Now, it's interesting to note that, Salom, the only basis on that Mr. Akufo-Addo referred this particular Airbus transaction to the special prosecutor had to do with the fact that, to the mind of Mr. Akufo-Addo, felt that if a relative of the president was involved in this transaction, then it underscores the need for simple investigation. I think we welcome the precedent that Mr. Akufo-Addo has set. Today, it is clear that you can't investigate any transaction undertaken on behalf of the state if you have reason to believe that there is a presidential relative involved in the transaction. That precedent, I just want to say, fellow, that may nobody tomorrow say, let nobody tomorrow say that a call to investigate a transaction because of something associated with the president or whatever are involved is a call to witch hunting. That precedent, when it happened, persons like you, sir, you never complained. You felt it was proper. It is good to do. Let that precedent stay, and let us all operate with it going forward. I want to say again that if you look at the entire OSP report, a copy of which I have, and you are a lawyer, a very one at that, if you go to paragraph 6.2, if you permit me to read. Salom, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm here listening to you and listening to how you're trying to deal with them, trying to call me into it and all of that. But just go ahead.
I just want your learning relative to this matter. The OSP says, based on its findings, particularly paragraph 6.4, it says that the processes leading to the purchase by the government of Ghana of the 3C-295, the military aircraft from Airbus, follows substantially the same pattern.
So paragraph 6 what? I didn't get that word. Paragraph 6 what?
No, I said paragraph 6.4.
6.4.
Yes, please.
6.4. I don't see 6.4. I see 6.3.1. Ends then goes to 7. Further action is 7. Or maybe.
Kindly look at page 18.
Page 18. Okay. Just a minute. Okay, I think I'm okay. I get it.
Maybe the alignment.
I get it. So 6.4. Yes, I get it. Go ahead.
The processes leading to the purchase, and I'll just skip, followed substantially the same pattern. Parliament approved the proposed transaction in 2011. In accordance with the laws of Ghana, there was nothing remarkable about the deal, and it certainly would not have found its way, save for ABC. Then it proceeds. 6.5. The OSC investigation found no evidence that former President Mahama was involved or played any role in the procurement and maintenance of the agency relationship between Airbus and Foster and its association. Very significant fact. Very significant. It proceeds at page, the OSC found no evidence that suggests that the involvement of Foster as an intermediary of Airbus and the direct communications and meetings between the former president and officials of Airbus to close the deal between Airbus and government amounted to any corruption and corruption-related offense in respect of which the OSP has a mandate. Nothing more, nothing else.
I see.
That, for me, brings finality to this regrettable gossip that has been put together as though it was a eureka moment. You see, what this report does is that, look, fellow, H.E. John Dramani Mahama, having left office 6th of January 2017, has remained in this country for 7 years, 7 months. Nobody, beyond this Airbus matter, has invited him to appear before any investigative panel to answer to any criminal charges of any form or shape to today. And thankfully, thankfully today, this Airbus matter that we have always maintained, that A.T. John Dramani Mahama did not play any role relative to the finding by the OSP, has completely been vindicated. And we can only thank the support of the people of this country as we get close to today. That is all that I can say.
Very well. So educate us. Is it a case, or does this end the matter, or another investigative body or agency of state can be reassigned the case and reopen investigations to the matter? Does this end it, or there could be another way that any government could reopen this matter?
Now, if you look at the letter from Mr. Akufo-Addo, signed by Mr. Eugene I, dated the 2nd day of February 2020, this is what he said. Inquiry into bribery of Ghanaian officials in military aircraft deal. Quote, the attention of the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has been drawn to a 31st January 2020 judgment of the Crown Court. According to the statement, it concludes. Now, the final point. President Akufo-Addo has taken notice of the judgment and its implication and has referred it to the Office of the Special Prosecutor to corroborate with his UK counterpart to conduct a prompt inquiry to determine the complicity or otherwise of any Ghanaian government official, past or present, involved in the said scandal, and to take necessary legal action against any such official as required by Ghanaian law. Now, listen to the special prosecutor. Parliament of the Republic of Ghana constituted the Prosecutors Act. By reason of its function and object, it has exclusive jurisdiction to make a determination and investigation into issues of bribery and corruption. And in fact, if you recall, the corruption offenses under Act 29 have been taken and given to the OSP. Now, with that jurisdiction, exclusive to it, and having come to this conclusion, it brings finality to what the issues are. And that is what it is.
I see. So we thank you on this score. But another matter that you are involved in as well has to do with the ambulance purchase, scandal. A number of scandals we are dealing with today. Now, of course, last week we know that the Court of Appeal discharged and acquitted one of your clients, the minority leader, Ato Forson, then Deputy Finance Minister, when the matters began. The Office of the Attorney General himself indicated to everybody that he was going to appeal the decision. Now, we have that decision appealed today. Today, 8th of August 2024 at 2:25 p.m., the Office of the Attorney General filed a notice of criminal appeal against your client and Richard Jakpa. Has this come to your notice? Have you been served yet? I guess not. Has it come to your notice? And what's your initial thoughts about it? Of course, I know that you are involved in the matter, so you'll be guided about what comments you make.
In fact, you have just drawn my attention to it. Prophet Yoguadame, as the Attorney General of the Republic, on the 30th of July, gave the indication, the statement he issued, that he was going to appeal the decision. That's solely within his right so to do. We have no doubt at all in our minds that the innocence of the Honorable Kistel Ato Forson would forever be vindicated. Listen, it matters not whichever panel whatever it is, Asofo has always demonstrated his readiness to answer to whatever charge. And in fact, you note that even while the appeal that was decided was pending, we went ahead and opened our defense and called our witnesses and closed our defense. That is how confident we are in our innocence. So, Mr. Godfrey Wadami can do whatever pleases him. He can do whatever pleases him. I believe that he has become emotionally connected with his kids. And possibly, as a way of giving him a certain emotional respite, he has to put up this appeal. Let's see how it goes. We are ready.
I see. Thanks so much, Eduji Tamaklo, Director of Legal Affairs of the NDC, for speaking to us on two issues. First, and the main one being the fact that the Office of the Special Prosecutor has exonerated former President Mahama of any wrongdoing in the infamous Airbus scandal. Indeed, portions of the report of the Special Prosecutor, headed Further Action, states that, and this 7.07.1 on page 23, said that the Special Prosecutor has directed the closure of the OSP investigation into alleged bribery of high-ranking Ghanaian officials by Airbus SC through intermediaries in respect of the sale of military transport aircraft by Airbus SC to the Republic of Ghana between 2009 and 2005. It goes ahead to say that the OSP would not institute criminal proceedings against any person in respect of this investigation. It says that the Special Prosecutor has also directed authorized officers of the OSP to rescind the 13 May 2020 warrant of arrest obtained from the Circuit Court, Accra, for the arrest of Samuel Adam Foster, also known as Samuel Adam Mahama, Philip Sean Middlemiss, Leanne Sarah Davis, and Sarah Fano. It concludes by saying that on the 8th of August 2024, the Special Prosecutor notified Interpol of the withdrawal of the red notice in respect of Samuel Adam Foster, also known as Samuel Adam Mahama, Philip Sean Middlemiss, Leanne Sarah Davis, and Sarah Fano. So that, and the report is signed obviously by the Special Prosecutor of the Republic of Ghana. The report essentially says that it finds no connection or no evidence of wrongdoing on the part of Mahama. It's, however, noted that the fact of familiar relationship between Mr. Mahama and his brother, Samuel Adam Foster, or Samuel Adam Mahama, he will not discount, gives suspicion to conflict of interest and other improper conduct, as it were. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. A number of your messages have been coming through. This one from Newdik Ni Atukwe from Accra says, Salam, JDM is clean from this Airbus and Guinea Fowls corruption allegation. Posterity is a good judge indeed. This one from Brilliant Fahad says, vindication lies in the bosom of time. Nanado and Baumia tried all means possible to smear John Mahama with corruption, but John Mahama is incorruptible. I can't wait to vote for him on December 7. Nyoja Bright in Nottinghamshire, in the United Kingdom, says, this ideal government, instead of prosecuting its officials who are engaged in wanton corruption, is rather chasing what does not exist. The president should show the way by prosecuting his own daughters in the ambulance saga. The days of the president are numbered. You see, Akapol Jr. In Ahafumim says the NDC feel vindicated and are now hailing the Special Prosecutor for clearing ex-President Mahama. The same people chastise the Special Prosecutor for cleaning Madam Cecilia Dapa and those who were accused of being corrupt. This is double standards at the highest degree. Kofi Abochi in Achim Chuapiasi says, did lawyer Eduji listen to the communications director called Baumia corrupt only because his brother has been awarded contracts by the government? James Adoboy in La says, good evening, Salam. We have always held a belief that JDM is not corrupt. The OSP just confirmed our long-held belief Ghanaians are not angry enough, you say. From Baba Chairman in Tamale, he says, oh, so it's now a problem for the president to direct an accusation to the ASP for investigation. Yanum will always have something to say. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We'll take a short break. Return with more. Don't go away.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Oh, jump on
Go. Google me. And what time when you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same right. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish Magobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand the Magobe inside?
I give you info. Make a feel the gobe too small.
Go.
Yo, Pana. Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
I am going to check my name and details on the voters register.
What's name? What register?
The Electoral Commission, as part of the preparations for the 2024 general elections, is conducting an exhibition of the voters register from Tuesday 20th August to Tuesday 27th August 2024 between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. daily.
Yes. Then I need to go and check mine right now. Yes. Check.
You need to check your personal details on the register, and if need be, put in claims for corrections. You also need to know your polling station.
Wow.
You can also object to the inclusion of persons who are not qualified to be on the register. The name of your relative who died must be removed from the register.
I need to go check for my name right now. Yes. Check.
But you need to know the date and time too.
Check.
Yes, towards the conduct of the 2024 general elections, the Electoral Commission will display the voters register for public inspection. Make sure you check your details in person during the exhibition of the voters register from Tuesday 20th August to Tuesday 27th August 2024 between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. daily. Alternatively, registered voters can check their registration details on their phones by dialing *711*51# on all networks. Persons who have lost or misplaced their voter ID cards can go to the exhibition centers to check their registration details. Exhibition officers can help check their details even without their voter ID cards. A qualified voter may object to the name and particulars of a person on the grounds of being a minor, a foreigner, not of sound mind, impersonation, or not a resident of the area.
Check.
Your vote is your future.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. Let's do some more stories. The Teacher Trainee Association of Ghana has renewed its calls for the closure of schools amid the ongoing strike by the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana. CTAG has been on strike since June 14 due to the government's failure to implement the arbitral award and conditions of service. The strike has significantly disrupted the academic calendar, prompting the Trainee Association to urge the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission to shut down the schools. However, GTEC has expressed optimism that CTAG will soon call off its strike and has decided against closing the schools. In an interview with City News, the president of the Trainee Association, Swale Razak, outlined the reasons why they believe a temporary shutdown is necessary.
Right now, where the strike has entered into, we are still all hoping that CITA will follow the strike, but CITA has made it stand clear that unless the full implementation of the arbitration awards order, arbitration awards as awarded them by the National Labour Commission, they are not going to call off. So that is their stand. So that they are not going with the MOU. That is the Memorandum of Agreement that has been signed between the employer and CTAC. That is the stand of CTAC. We are appealing to the employer. We are appealing to government that since we are still taking longer in resolving the strike, then the students be allowed to go home, and then we come back fresh and then start the semester, because it's long overdue. We are in the 8th week. We have less than a month to the completion of the semester, and then we have been in strike. Students don't really know what is happening, so we want to initiate the call for a closure of the school, so that we can come back and begin a fresh academic semester. That gives the students enough time to prepare both academically and financially to come and face the new semester.
Swale Razak is the president of the Teacher Trainee Association of Ghana. The Ministry of Finance has approved payment for the reviewed vehicle maintenance allowance and other related allowances to 3 educational unions. The unions receiving these payments are the Senior Staff Association of Universities of Ghana, the Federation of Senior Staff Associations of Ghana, and the Teachers and Educational Workers Union of the Trade Union Congress. This decision follows a threat from the unions to go on strike on August 9. In an interview with City News, the General Secretary of TEWU TUC, King James Azoteba, indicated that the unions are now likely to put on hold their planned strike.
We had a letter yesterday from the Director General of the GTEC, Ghana Tertiary Education Council, confirming that the Minister of Finance has given authorization for the payment to be done, as was agreed by our negotiation with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. So once that letter has come, we have to talk to our people to call off this Friday. In the case of some of our universities, the payments have been done already. Just that they were threatening to stop the payments because finance has not given authorization. So we will call our members to order, and then the trade unions we have, as we have gotten this, we'll do some conference discussion. Then we'll communicate to our members to call off the intended strike.
That was the General Secretary of the Teachers and Educational Workers Union of the Trade Union Congress, King James Azoteba. Now, the National Labour Commission has urged allied health professionals to consider the Health Minister's promise to address the administrative concerns raised by the group. The professionals, comprising 18 associations, including the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists, the Ghana Physiotherapy Association, and the Ghana Society of Radiographers, initiated an industrial action due to the hospital's refusal to appoint an independent body to oversee their operations. The group argues that the affairs of its members are not being properly managed, prompting their request to establish a separate directorate to oversee their operations. Speaking to City News, President of the Kolebu chapter of the Allied Health Professionals, Dr. Francis Kwachi, stated that the group is expected to return to the NLC on August 14th for updates on the minister's progress in resolving the issues.
So the NLC actually advised us that once the minister said he will resolve it within 7 days, we should go and get it resolved together with the minister, then report back to the NLC on the 14th of this month. So from the time we met with the NLC until next week, Wednesday, that is the 14th of August, we are supposed to get it resolved so that we can report back to the NLC. And so today, tomorrow, and then next week, before we meet with the NLC, there's going to be a positive resolution.
President of the Kolebu chapter of the Allied Health Professionals, Dr. Francis Kwache, entry there. Now, a senior political science lecturer at the University of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Asasante, says the presidential debate will have no bearing on the outcome of the December general elections. His comments come after the Institute of Economic Affairs announced its readiness to organize a presidential debate in October. The exact dates, times, and venues would be announced later after the IEA concludes its engagements with the various candidates and their respective political parties. Dr. Kwame Asasante says the debate will only provide a platform for voters to assess the various candidates.
A debate, apart from the fact that it helps voters in the way it shapes their mind, it helps them to understand the candidates that they are going to decide on. And above all, the debate also provide a platform from voters to assess their candidates and know their strengths, weaknesses, and all that. I'm afraid the debate, whether it is taken or not, will not, change the fortunes of any person who want to contest. It's very simple. In other words, it doesn't influence voter choice one way or the other. Because come to look at it from the third world, somebody in his rural area, is he looking forward to a debate before he vote for you? He's looking for constituency-specific issue. He lives in a constituency where there is no potable water, and that he believes that whoever wants to contest, whether at the constituency level or the national level, should come and fix that problem. He is somebody who goes to the market often, and then he goes to assess goods and services there. The economic conditions is what is going to change his vote towards one person or another. In other words, the economy is going to be the game changer.
Dr. Kwame Asasante is a senior political science lecturer at the University of Ghana.
Still on politics, the National Democratic Congress has denied allegations that its flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama, is touring the region to counter, or is touring the Volta region to counter the influence of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the new Patriotic Party presidential aspirant. These claims emerged following reports that Mr. Mahama had cut short his Northern Regional tour to address issues in the Volta region due to Dr. Bawumia's campaign activities there. The party in the Volta region, or the Volta Regional Secretariat of the party, has issued a statement saying that Mr. Mahama's trip or tour to the region was actually pre-planned and has nothing to do with Dr. Bawumia being in the region. Mustafa Gbande is a Deputy General Secretary of the party. He joins us on the line to provide us some insight on this. Hello, good evening, Mustafa. Welcome to Eyewitness News. The claim is that Mr. Mahama did not finish his tour of the northern part of Ghana. Indeed, we understand there was Boku and other places outstanding, but he left for the Volta region. What's the real issue there?
Well, I think that first and foremost, the party is well aware that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama began a tour, his presidential tour, in Upper East. And in the last few days, he's engaged the length and breadth of that region, extending to Northeast, where he engaged, for example, Yagaba, and all of that. And then came back this morning to Accra to have some engagements, including interaction with Ghanaian youth, and then also some engagements at Bukum Arena. That is all the party is aware. His next itinerary is being discussed at the campaign team level, and once that is finalized, I'm sure that we will put out. Disregard any rumor which does not come from either the flag bearer's office or the headquarters of the NDC or the national campaign team headed by the national campaign coordinator, who is the general secretary of the party.
I see. So is it a case that the Volta region was the next stop for the Mahama campaign all along, and that it was not due to Dr. Bawumia's presence in the Volta region? Is that what you are saying?
Well, I have no idea that Dr. Bawumia features any prominence in the itinerary or preparation of itinerary for our campaign. Our campaign is structured on issues. We have a focus, we have a plan to achieve. And if it happens to coincide at a period where a particular candidate of a political party is within a particular area, that would be a natural coincidence. But I don't think that the NDC's itinerary for presidential campaign, do we say that Professor Jenana Opoku-Agyeman being in Central Region is also because Napo is in Western Region? But she has been there long ago before Napo began his campaign to influence chiefs. So do we say that it's because we are running and facing Napo? No, we cannot say that. I don't think that His Excellency Mahmoud Bawumia features in any form or shape We know that he is the incumbent vice president who is made the leader of the MPP. We know his track record. We know the track record of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Our focus is to reach out to the Ghanaian people. Our focus is to have a common understanding and accord as Ghanaians behind the visionary President John Dramani Mahama. And that will be done when His Excellency is able to touch base with the length and breadth of this country. He's been doing this thing in the last 1 year. In fact, the MPP and His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bama copied our program. Building the Ghana tour concept of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is what the Baumia have copied and implementing even wrongly. And so they are
it's
learning
copied
from
what?
us.
The touring constituencies has become an NDC, concept?
They copied the concept of the Building the Ghana tour that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama did. It was the first of its kind in this country where a president or a presidential candidate is meeting cluster of people from the society, meeting interest groups, artisans, meeting religious groups in a constituency or a region. When Baumia started it, he even was doing his at the regional level until they got a national security and BNI report that Ghanaians were not going to vote for them. So hence they began to go to the constituencies, bashing people. They've copied that from us. We had that concept implemented. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
What we know is that the first round of tour he undertook was on a macro scale. So he visited regions. And we were told right from the onset that the second phase will be the constituency to constituency tour. And I guess that's what he's currently doing.
But I'm just telling you that whole concept was our concept. We did it. We implemented it. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama went to every region, every constituency, and met cluster of people. And then as soon as he finished, they copied ditto. Youth Connect was started by us. Stakeholder engagement was started by us. MPP never dreamt of any of these concepts. And so for them to think that we are going to Volta region or we are going to Eastern region because of Dr. Mahmoud Ba, it's a concoction again, trying to get attention. He wouldn't get that attention. We are telling Baumia, very simple, you are still the vice president. Go and account to the people of Ghana your stewardship. Go and take responsibility for the mess that we find ourselves in. If you have any brilliant plan that will save Ghanaians, implement it now. Because when we are buying fuel, they wouldn't ask whether you are from Chebi or you are holding NDC card. You are a Ghanaian. You will pay for fuel at a higher cost. If you are going to pay school fees for your children, they won't ask of your political party affiliation. Ghanaians are suffering today. As we speak, in Kuala Lumpur, the renal units have been shut down. It is the people of Ghana that are going to be affected by this. Let them change the situation now and save the life of Ghanaians. Beyond that, I believe that Ghanaians will make His Excellency John Dramani Mahama the next president of Ghana in good faith. And so we don't have anything to do with them. We are campaigning and touching base with Ghanaians in every society and every locality. In fact, last week, the MPP met at their campaign team where His Excellency Mahmoud Baumia was present and decided that the urban folks have become sensitized and will not vote for them. So they should go to the villages and continue to lie by sharing money. And that is what exactly they are doing.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that meeting.
Well, you don't know about that because you are a journalist and I'm a politician.
Well, I know so about that. Of course. So I'm the one here. So I don't know about that. But that's fine. I mean, the IEA yesterday announced that it has decided to hold presidential debates in October and is in November, and that the presidential encounters will happen about a month before that. It does appear that they've listened to you about engagements and all of that. Has the IE officially contacted the NDC on the upcoming presidential debates and encounters?
The NDC and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will not step foot at the IEA. And in fact, on that day, we will turn our radio stations and TV stations off. Why would we engage in that academic exercise as a standard for election? Aren't Ghanaians suffering enough? Aren't people suffering enough? Aren't parents suffering enough? Aren't teachers suffering enough to be able to discern that this government is a fraudulent one? Kenyans know that. The farmers who can no longer farm, knowing the prices and the prices of input, are feeling the impact. The teachers who cannot ever bear, the journalists who can no longer take care of their families, the nurses who are fleeing from this country, they know that we have a bad government in place. We will not use IEA debate, intellectual exercise, as a standard for election. If that is why Ghanaians will not vote for the NDC, so be it. We are not going.
But you admit that there's quite a huge constituency out there looking forward to the debate and exchange of ideas between Dr. Bawumia and former President Rawlings, former President Mahama. That constituency knows that a vote for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is a vote for President Akufo-Addo's third term to continue to steal. This is a president who was found by the Auditor General report. Mustafa, I don't know about the stealing. I mean, I think we can have this engagement without making such deep allegations.
When you read the Auditor General's report,
the Auditor General report says that President Nana-Addo has stolen money.
His children, they use his influence.
They use his influence to steal money.
Are you running away from the Japadia document? Aren't you angry enough that this is what your president have done to you? Aren't you angry enough that the future of your children is not guaranteed under this government? Aren't you angry enough that government officials are stealing money left and right? Aren't you angry?
All right, Mustafa, so thanks so much.
We will not step foot at any debate.
Very well. We will hope to talk more. All the best. And so presently, Mahama is in the Volta region. Where does he go from there next?
President Mahama will talk and will continue to give updates to the people of Ghana where his next stop will be.
Very well. Thank you so much, Mustafa Gbande, Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, speaking to us on two main issues. One having to do with the allegation that Mahama rushed to the Volta region because Bawumia was making strides there, and also on the matter of the IEA debate. Of course, the IEA yesterday says that it set its dates for its presidential debates and presidential encounters. It says that the NDC will not partake in it. Of course, that has been the NDC's position for some time now. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll do City Business News and Point Blank. Don't go away.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Are you feeling tired after a hard day's work? Have you lost your appetite even for your favorite dish? Viral Blood Tonic is a nutritionally balanced, pleasant-tasting tonic fortified with iron and vitamins to boost your appetite and energy levels for high performance. Viral Blood Tonic, easy to take and good for the whole family. Viral from Danex Iting Starwin PLC. If symptoms persist after 48 hours, consult a physician. This advert is FDA approved.
When you want to eat, just Momo it. Tired of the long queues in the supermarket? Pay with Momo. When you really want that beautiful new blouse, just Momo it. When you want to get a trim and get fresh to impress you know who, just Momo it. When you need to pay your utility bills and domestic staff, Shani Momo. When you want to send love to the family back home, send some Momo. Join the millions of MTN Momo users all over Ghana and live life the brighter way. So just Momo it. MTN.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. City Business News. Be informed.
Time now for City Business News on Eyewitness News. My name is Inu. Let's settle for the details. Ghana is experiencing delays in securing a crucial loan needed to finance the upcoming cocoa harvest, a significant concern for the world's second largest cocoa producer as the new season approaches without the necessary funding. The following report has the details.
Negotiations between the Ghana Cocoa Board and a consortium of international lenders are still ongoing, with major disagreement over the loan terms, including the amount to be lent and the repayment conditions, according to inside sources who prefer to remain anonymous. There are also reports that banks are hesitant to extend the $1.5 billion requested by the industry regulator, citing fears that production may once again fall short. Ghana depends on this syndicated loan to cover expenses such as providing subsidized fertilizers to cocoa farmers and purchasing cocoa beans from growers when the harvest begins in October. Last year, the country only managed to sign an agreement with lenders in December, forcing Cocoa Board to secure interim financing from cocoa traders.
That was a news desk report. Now, during the first 6 months of 2024, Ghana's offshore oil facilities maintained high efficiency, operating at 97% uptime. This was contained in Tullow Oil's half-year results released for investors around the world. There's more in the following business desk report.
The Jubilee oil field produced an average of 90,100 barrels of oil per day, though this was slightly below expectations due to issues with one of the wells, which was brought on stream in February 2024. The well underperformed because of low pressure from water injection in that area, a problem not seen elsewhere in the field. Despite this, water injection across the field reached a record level, helping to boost reservoir pressure and increase overall production. With the help of a new water injection well that started in June, production levels have stabilized and are expected to average around 90,000 barrels per day for the entire year. During the first half of 2024, 5 new wells were brought on stream in the Jubilee field, completing the current drilling program ahead of schedule without any safety incident. Meanwhile, in the Chenebua and Yura Intumi oil fields, production averaged 19,000 barrels per day, exceeding expectations. Positive results from optimization efforts have led to an increase in the annual production forecast to 18,000 barrels per day. Gas production in Ghana averaged 6,500 barrels of oil equivalent per day in the first half of 2024. This development could positively impact on the revenue and taxes that government could be getting from the company.
That was a business desk report. Now, Ranking Member on Parliament's Select Committee on Food, Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs, Eric Opoku, is calling on government to immediately pay the aggrieved workers of the produce buying company their unpaid salaries. The staff of PBC on Wednesday protested in demand of their salaries, which remains unpaid for over a year now. The frustrated workers lamented that the prolonged neglect of their grievances has brought severe hardship to them and their families. Speaking to City Business News, Ranking Member on Parliament's Select Committee on Food, Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs, and MP for Asunafo South, Eric Opoku, says the situation is unfair and called on government to pay them.
These are people who have served their nation. They have worked tirelessly to contribute towards the growth of our nation. Why is it that they shouldn't be paid? They must be paid. As a matter of urgency, government must act. They shouldn't have waited for these people to demonstrate before they respond. If you are in charge, you don't sit down for people to complain and you seem not to care. Certainly, it is a worrying situation. If the company is collapsed and you don't want to keep the workers again, there's a process. Sit down with them, whatever they are entitled to, give it to them, for everybody to understand that now you have ceased operation and you have asked all workers to go home. Whatever they are entitled to has been paid them. Nobody will complain again.
Eric Opoku is Ranking Member on Parliament's Select Committee on Food, Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs and MP for Asunafo South. Now, the Locked Up Investment Holders Forum says the government's apology over the domestic debt exchange program will do nothing to reverse shocks to investors. The Finance Minister, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, this week made a passionate appeal to Ghanaians to forgive the Akufo-Addo-led government for the negative impact of the domestic debt exchange program, which was part of requirements for a $3 billion in financial support from the IMF. The banking sector particularly suffered significantly, with local banks recording $19 billion on losses, while foreign banks made losses of $17 billion due to the DDEP. Dr. Duana Entry is a convener of the Locked Up Investment Holders Forum.
Naturally, if anybody does something and the person comes back and says, I'm sorry for what I have done and the effect on you, you will not say, I won't accept. But that doesn't remove whatever effect that what a person has done has caused you. Like in they say, Kafra and Kumkru, if you injure somebody and you say, I'm sorry, it doesn't heal the wounds. And so, as much as the apology will be accepted, that is not going to heal the wounds that the DDEP has caused Ghanaians and people who were affected.
Dr. Eduanani Entry is the convener of the Locked Up Investment Holders Forum. Secretary General of the AFCFTA Secretariat, Wamkele Mene, is making a strong case for African countries to develop a new approach to ensure sustainable and inclusive development on the continent. This comes amid concerns that current measures being implemented are failing to fully leverage Africa's vast potential, leaving many nations vulnerable to global market fluctuations and persistent socio-economic challenges. Highlighting measures that should be taken at the ongoing 13th edition of the Ghana Economic Forum, he noted that the traditional economic methods, which has largely focused on resource extraction and export, has not delivered the broad-based development that Africa needs, thus the need for change.
My view is that in all of this, there is a solution. In all of the challenges that the continent faces, as we seek to re-engineer Africa's economic model, we have a tool at our disposal, and that tool is the AFCFTA. You will recall that in 2020, Africa's exports to the rest of the world reduced by over 35%, as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and global markets shutting down. This should be and is a wake-up call for us Africans that we must deepen intra-Africa trade in order for us to be self-sustaining as a continent.
That was the Secretary General of the AFCFTA Secretariat, Wamkele Mene. And that's all for City Business News on Eyewitness News. My name is Enosafo. Up next is Point Blank.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Google me. At what time when you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they boss my mind self be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my go be fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my go be inside?
I give you info. Make a feel the go be too small.
The go.
Yo, Pana. Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
When you want to eat, just Momo it. Tired of the long queues in the supermarket? Pay with Momo. When you really want that beautiful new blouse, just Momo it. When you want to get a trim and get fresh to impress you know who, just Momo it. When you need to pay your utility bills and domestic staff, Chani Momo. When you want to send love to the family back home, send some Momo. Join the millions of MTN Momo users all over Ghana and live life the brighter way. So just Momo it. MTN.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
of any wrongdoing. Airbus scandal. There will be no criminal prosecution. Case or the investigation into the matter closed. The special prosecutor.
The OSP's mutual legal assistance requested from the UK and US authorities placed the OSP in a position no better than any person who read the DPAs and the decisions of the UK and US courts on the Airbus matter. It was not a lack of industry or want of trying on the part of the OSP. In the end, the OSP had to conduct the investigation on its own without any real help. However, the DPAs and the decisions of the UK and UK courts served as a vital foundation for the OSP investigation. After all, the President's referral to the OSP was on the back of the DPAs and the judicial pronouncements. Therefore, the OSP investigative outcomes are substantially similar to that of the SFO of the United Kingdom and the DOJ of the United States. Our investigation shows, as captured in the UK and US deferred prosecution agreements, the Airbus indeed completed 2 sale campaigns in Ghana in respect of C-295 twin-turboprop military transport aircraft manufactured in Spain by a subsidiary of Airbus. The campaigns resulted in the sale of 3 C-295s. The first contract between Ghana and Airbus was signed on 3 August 2011 for the sale of 2 of the aircraft, and the second contract was signed on 5 March 2015 for 1 C-295. The 3 aircraft were delivered to Ghana on 17 November 2011, 19 March 2012, and 4 December 2015, respectively. That is to say, they were actually delivered. The OSP investigation also shows that in the general scheme of affairs, the acquisition of operational assets by the Air Force is driven by national and operational requirements. So when a need is identified, the Air Force Command develops a technical paper upon which providers are requested to make presentations on technical details, logistics support, and cost. If a provider meets the requirements, a formal contract in the form of a sales and purchase agreement are drafted by the provider for the consideration of the Air Force. Thereafter, stakeholder meetings are held among representatives of the Air Force, Attorney General's Department, Department of Legal Services of the Ministry of Defense, the Judge Advocate General's Office, and the provider, all aimed at arriving at a consensus on outstanding issues and conflicting positions and resulting amendments to the draft agreement. Thereafter, the agreement is submitted to the Ministry of Defense for cabinet and parliamentary approvals. The Air Force then constitutes a compliance team to work closely with the provider to ensure that the delivered item meets the agreed specifications. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, the processes leading to the purchase by the government of Ghana of 3 C-295 twin turboprop military transport aircraft from Airbus followed substantially the same pattern. Parliament approved the proposed transactions in 2011. In accordance with the laws of Ghana, in the estimation of the OSP, there was nothing remarkable about the deal, and it certainly would not have found its way in the UK and US deferred prosecution agreements and made headlines around the world, but for the involvement of former President John Dramani Mahama and his younger brother of the full blood, Samuel Adam Foster, also known as Samuel Adam Mahama, and his associates, as recounted in the UK and US deferred prosecution agreements. The OSP investigation found no evidence that former President Mahama was involved or played any role in the procurement and maintenance of the agency relationship between Airbus and Foster and its associates in respect of the purchase by the government of Ghana of military transport aircraft from Airbus. And it appears to the OSP that the direct communications and meetings between former President Mahama and officials of Airbus to close the deal were actuated by good intentions on the part of the former president. It also appears that Foster and his associates became involved as intermediaries in the Airbus Ghana deal after the decision by the government of Ghana in preference of the C-295 aircraft. Therefore, it seems that Foster's Airbus intermediary role at the time his brother served as the Vice President of Ghana was a case of luckless coincidence that attracted the disapproval of the UK and US authorities. The OSP found no evidence that suggests that the involvement of Foster as an intermediary of Airbus and the direct communications and meetings between former President Mahama and officials of Airbus to close the deal between Airbus and the government of Ghana amounted to any corruption and corruption-related offense in respect of which the OSP has a mandate. However, it ought reasonably to have occurred to former President Mahama and the government of Ghana that the familiar relationship between former President Mahama and Foster and the direct participation by former President Mahama in the communications and meetings with Airbus officials were bound to raise reasonable suspicions of improper conduct and dealings, notwithstanding any claims to good faith conduct and above-board dealings, especially in light of the fact that during the first Airbus campaign, former President Mahama was the chairman of the Armed Forces Council by reason of his position as the vice president, and therefore a very key decision maker. Such close proximity dealings by such elected high officials of the Republic and their kin and close associates on behalf of the Republic should neither be viewed favorably nor encouraged, as they give rise to reasonable suspicion of influence peddling and conflict of interest, never mind any intended good faith on the part of the vice president or the president. Then again, the direct participation of the president and the vice president on behalf of the Republic in commercial communications and meetings with commercial entities should not be encouraged either, as they expose these elected high officials to the specter of the slightest hint of perceived corruption that may attend international business transactions. The president and the vice president should be insulated from such direct commercial dealings. Indeed, it seems to the OSP that the only reasons why the Airbus Ghana deal found its way into the UK and US DPAs were the fact that former President Mahama and Samuel Adam Foster were brothers of the full blood, and that former President Mahama directly participated in commercial communications and meetings with Airbus officials. This is because, and here, without seeking to critique the UK and US deferred prosecution agreements, the OSP found no evidence, circumstantial or direct, which suggests that Foster and his associates were actually paid bribes, and which bribes were to be transmitted to former President Mahama, and that the bribes were actually paid to former President Mahama. Indeed, to all intents and purposes, and objectively viewed, an agency relationship existed between Airbus and Foster and his associates, by which Foster and his associates acted as business partners of Airbus in respect of the Airbus Ghana deal, and under which Foster and his associates were to be remunerated success-based commission payments. I'm a woman, so expect that. This was a typical arrangement instituted by Airbus, by which it contracted third parties as business partners to increase its international footprint and to assist it in winning sales contracts in numerous jurisdictions. On this basis, when Airbus made a successful sale of aircraft, it will ordinarily pay a business partner a commission-based percentage value of the sale or a fixed amount of the aircraft. In this context, Airbus took the full benefit of the agency agreement with Foster and his associates and the services they provided to Airbus for a considerable length of time. This was so because the contract for the sale of the first 295s between Airbus and Ghana, which was clearly secured by Foster and his associates, was signed almost 2 months before Airbus issued its due diligence report on 30 September 2011, which led to the abrogation of the arrangement between Airbus and Foster and his associates. It was only when Airbus' due diligence mechanism discovered the familiar relationship between former President Mahama and Foster that it abrogated the relationship. The abrogation by Airbus of the agency arrangement certainly portended to work, and did in fact work, grave unfairness against Foster and his associates. Therefore, the concoction of a plan by senior leadership in SMO International and the Defense and Space Division of Airbus to deliberately circumvent Airbus compliance rules by substituting Company D, or the company owned by Consultant 4 and Consultant 5, with the Spanish intermediary 8 Organization 1 to ensure payments to Foster and his associates was probably a well-intentioned adventure, though apparently misguided, as it rendered the payments seemingly of doubtful provenance. It also appears to the OSP that the relationship between Airbus and Foster and his associates was neither one-off nor peculiar to the Airbus Ghana deal. Airbus had in place similar business partnership models with Foster and his associates in respect of business promotion in other African countries before the Airbus Ghana transaction. As we stated above, the UK and US deferred prosecution agreements did not include and cover the reference individuals. The agreed settlements were reached by the UK and US authorities with Airbus only, and it appears that Airbus accepted criminal culpability for bribery for itself and also vicariously on behalf of the reference individuals, including its employees, agents, business partners, and Ghanaian public officials, and that the reference individuals appeared not to have been direct subjects of the investigation by the UK and US authorities and were not afforded the opportunity, if they were so minded to take it, to explain their actions and to present exculpatory evidence, if any. The OSP is unaware of any such analogous proceedings or framework in Ghana by which an entity could vicariously accept wholesale criminal responsibility on behalf of another, especially where that other was not a direct subject of the investigation and was available to answer for himself, but was not afforded the opportunity to do so and to present any exculpatory evidence he may have. Though the UK and US deferred prosecution agreements were emphatic that Airbus failed to prevent persons associated with it from bribing others concerned with the purchase of military transport aircraft by the government of Ghana, and that the bribes were intended to obtain or retain business or advantage in the conduct of business for Airbus, and further that the payments were intended to induce or reward improper favor by former President John Dramani Mahama toward Airbus. The conclusions by the UK and US authorities appear to be solely from the perspective of Airbus and what Airbus perceived as the real intentions of its employees in their dealings with their intermediaries and the government of Ghana. The OSP does not question the conclusions of the UK and US authorities. This is so, especially as the OSP is not privy to the raw body of evidence available to the UK and US authorities, apart from the content of the DPAs, which you may have all read. However, it seems to us that the nature and structure of Ghana's statutory prohibitions and our jurisprudence on corruption and corruption-related offenses do not lend themselves to founding criminal culpability in respect of the reference individuals in the context of the UK and US outcomes. It seems to us that since the reference individuals were not represented during the UK and US investigations, it became a case of whatever characterization Airbus placed on their conduct in relation to the actions of the employees of Airbus. It is also obvious that Airbus did not represent and had no intention of representing the interest of the reference individuals. It appears to us that the sole aim of Airbus was to save its image and reputation, never mind what it did to the image and reputation of the reference individuals, and to pay fines to avoid prosecution. Therefore, by reconstructing the entirety of Airbus dealings in Ghana, and through its intermediaries and with Ghanaian public officials, the OSP, looking at it from both the perspective of the officials of Airbus and that of the Airbus intermediaries and Ghanaian public officials, it seems to us that what Airbus perceived and accepted in the deferred prosecution agreements as the real intentions of its employees in their dealings with with the intermediaries and Ghanaian public officials is at cross purposes with what appear to be the real intentions and expectations of the intermediaries and the Ghanaian public officials in their dealings with the employees of Airbus. This is what I'm saying. While the accepted facts in the two foreign jurisdictions are that the employees of Airbus designed the payments to the intermediaries as bribes intended to court favor with Ghanaian public officials, especially ex-President John Dramani Mahama. On the other hand, the intermediaries appeared to expect and receive the payments as their legitimate expectation under an arrangement of success-based commissions for the sale of the military transport aircraft to the government of Ghana. And their actions, in whichever way viewed, were calculated as businessmen expecting their lawful paychecks and not as conduits of a bribery scheme. The concoction of a plan by senior leadership in SMO International and the Defense and Space Division of Airbus to deliberately circumvent Airbus compliance rules by substituting Company D, or the company owned by Consultant 4 and Consultant 5, with Spanish Intermediary 8, or Organization 1, to ensure payments to Foster and his associates, though wrongful and deceptive, was entirely an internal matter for Airbus in respect of its disciplinary regulations and code of ethics. It does not amount to the payment of bribes to court favor with Ghanaian public officials in the reckoning of Ghanaian law. It is a case of the employees of Airbus deceiving Airbus. Neither does the short declaration by Airbus to the Spanish Export Credit Agency and Airbus's non-declaration in the context of the US ITAR. Consequently, the OSP has no evidentiary basis upon which to conclude that Samuel Adam Foster, also known as Samuel Adam Mahama, Philip Sean Middlemas, and Leanne Sarah Davis acted as conduits of bribery between the employees of Airbus and former President John Dramani Mahama or any other public official. Also, the OSP found no evidentiary basis that suggests that Samuel Adam Foster, also known as Samuel Adam Mahama, Philip Sean Middlemas, and Leanne Sarah Davis received payments from Airbus with the intention of bribing former President John Dramani Mahama or any other public official. Further, the OSP found no evidentiary basis that suggests that former President John Dramani Mahama or any other public official was paid bribes by Samuel Adam Foster, also known as Samuel Adam Mahama, Philip Sean Middlemas, and Leanne Sarah Davis in respect of the purchase by the government of Ghana of military transport aircraft from Airbus. Then again, the OSP found no evidentiary basis that suggests that former President John Dramani Mahama or any other public official was induced to improperly favor or did improperly favor Airbus in respect of the purchase by the government of Ghana of military transport aircraft from Airbus. In the case of Sarah Feno, she should not even have been a subject of the OSP investigation. Members of the media, the OSP has cited and notes that by two separate communications, both dated 22 April 2021, the SFO in the United Kingdom notified Samuel Adam Foster and Philip Sean Middlemas that a decision had been taken not to prosecute them for any offense in respect of the Airbus Ghana deal. It has not come to the notice of the OSP that the SFO in the UK has reconsidered its decision. We consider it that it ties with our conclusion. Further action. A special prosecutor has directed the closure of the OSP investigation into alleged bribery of high-ranking Ghanaian officials by Airbus SC through intermediaries in respect of the sale of military transport aircraft by Airbus SC to the Republic of Ghana between 2009 and 2015. The OSP will not institute criminal proceedings against any person in respect of this investigation. The special prosecutor has also directed authorized officers of the OSP to rescind the 13 May 2020 warrants of arrest obtained from the Circuit Court Accra for the arrest of Samuel Adam Foster, also known as Samuel Adam Mahama, Philip Sean Middlemas, Leanne Sarah Davis, and Sarah.
We had the special prosecutor, Kisi Ejabing. We had a special prosecutor, Kisi Ejabing, at today's press conference, where he essentially discontinued or closed the investigations into the Airbus saga. That's how we conclude today's edition of Eyewitness News. And Point Blank came to you from our studios here at number 11, Dr. Martin Lupin at Dabraka Accra. Show produced by Nana Kwapna Wilson with assistance from Beverly London and Chris Asime. Emmanuel Latte provided technical support, and Edwin Kwakofi assisted with social media. Earlier you heard Eno Safo. My name is Selom Adunu. Up next is Sister. Have a good evening.